Emotional arousal, the hidden engine of human experience. Imagine watching the final minutes of a dramatic football match. The score is tied, the crowd is roaring, and a player suddenly breaks toward the goal. Your heart begins to beat faster. Your breathing changes. Your attention sharpens. Whether the ball goes in or not, something powerful has already happened inside your body and mind. Psychologists call this state emotional arousal, and it lies at the very center of human behavior. Although the phrase might sound technical, emotional arousal is something we experience every day. It refers to the physiological and psychological activation that occurs when we experience emotions. In simple terms, it is the body's way of preparing us to react to meaningful events, whether they bring excitement, fear, anger, joy, or surprise. At its core, emotional arousal involves a complex interaction between the brain, the nervous system, and the body. When we encounter something emotionally significant, perhaps a sudden loud noise, a touching piece of music, or a heartfelt conversation, the brain quickly evaluates the situation. A region called the amygdala, deeply embedded within the brain's emotional circuits, plays a crucial role in this process. It acts like an alarm system, signaling whether a stimulus is important or potentially threatening. Once this evaluation occurs, the body shifts into a more alert state. The autonomic nervous system, particularly its sympathetic branch, begins to activate. Heart rate increases, breathing becomes faster, muscles tense slightly, and the body releases hormones such as adrenaline. These changes happen in fractions of a second, often before we are even consciously aware of them. Interestingly, emotional arousal does not necessarily mean positive or negative emotion. The same physiological activation can accompany joy, excitement, fear, or anger. For example, the racing heart felt before giving a public speech may resemble the racing heart felt while riding a roller coaster. In both cases, the body enters a heightened state of readiness. Psychologists have long been fascinated by the relationship between emotion and arousal, and several theories attempt to explain how they interact. One classic explanation is the James Lange theory, proposed in the late 19th century. According to this view, emotions arise because we first experience bodily changes. In other words, we do not tremble because we are afraid, we feel afraid because we notice ourselves trembling. Later researchers proposed alternative models. The Cannon-Ebard theory, for instance, argued that emotional feelings and bodily arousal occur simultaneously rather than sequentially. In the 20th century, the Schachter-Singer two-factor theory introduced yet another perspective. Emotional experience results from both physiological arousal and cognitive interpretation. In this model, the mind interprets the body's state based on the context of the situation. These ideas highlight an important point. Emotional arousal is not just about the body, it is also about how we interpret what is happening around us. If your heart is pounding in a dark alley, you may interpret that sensation as fear. If the same pounding occurs while meeting someone you admire, the interpretation might be excitement. Emotional arousal also plays a crucial role in memory and learning. Events that provoke strong emotional reactions tend to be remembered more vividly than neutral experiences. This is partly because emotional arousal triggers the release of certain neurotransmitters and hormones that strengthen memory formation. It explains why people can vividly recall where they were during dramatic historical events or deeply personal moments. In everyday life, emotional arousal can influence decision-making, relationships, and performance. Moderate levels of arousal can enhance focus and motivation. Psychologists often refer to the Yerkes-Dodson law, which suggests that performance improves with increased arousal up to a point. Too little arousal may lead to boredom, while too much can cause stress and impaired thinking. Modern technology has added a new dimension to this phenomenon. Social media platforms, video games, and fast-paced digital environments are carefully designed to capture attention and stimulate emotional responses. Notifications, dramatic headlines, and emotionally charged content all trigger small bursts of arousal, encouraging users to remain engaged. Yet emotional arousal is not something we simply endure, it is also something we can learn to regulate. Techniques such as mindfulness, deep breathing, and emotional awareness help individuals recognize their internal states and respond more calmly to intense situations. Rather than eliminating emotion, these strategies allow us to channel emotional energy more effectively. Emotional arousal is not merely a biological reaction, it is a fundamental feature of being human. It sharpens our senses during moments of danger, deepens our memories of meaningful events, and adds color to the experiences that define our lives. From the thrill of victory to the quiet warmth of affection, emotional arousal quietly shapes the rhythm of our inner world. The next time your heart suddenly begins to race, whether from excitement, fear, or joy, you are witnessing one of the mind's most ancient and powerful mechanisms at work.